the U.S. government as he followed through on his threat to cut the federal workforce during the government shutdown. Trump has stated that a lot of people would be included in his layoffs and that his administration has started because of this government shutdown, and cuts would be designed with Democrats in mind. Listen in.
Because we figure, they started this thing, so they should be Democrat-oriented. It'll be a lot, and we'll announce the numbers over the next couple of days, but it'll be a lot of people, all because of the Democrats. I mean, they want to give $1.5 trillion to people that came into the country illegally. More important than that, because we all have a big heart. We want people.
Job cuts were underway at the Treasury Department, the U.S. Health Agency, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Departments of Education, Commerce and Homeland Security's Cybersecurity Division. But the total extent of the layoffs was not immediately clear. Roughly 300,000 federal civilian workers had already been set to leave their jobs this year due to downsizing campaign initiated earlier this year by Donald Trump. Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Daniel Bodman. We've seen this blame game going on in the United States of America, but it's the federal workers who've been furloughed. It's the federal workers who are now going to be laid off as well. In your assessment, which party is this continued government shutdown and the consequences of this going to hurt more?
I mean, it all depends on how you spin it. And America is very different than other countries when it comes to sort of a federal or private versus public workforce. Americans are much more in favor of private workforce. I mean, for example, in Canada, listen, I'd love to see half of the government workers fired. They definitely hinder the economy in the country more than they help, at least half of them. But that is not that's not the mentality of America. So you can say maybe the Republicans stand to benefit more because their base can be sold on federal cuts and all that. But again, it has to come out like, will these, ultimately the Republicans are in charge, so the Republicans bear responsibility for what happens. And if these sort of cuts and the bureaucracy gets trimmed and it doesn't cause any catastrophic damage to the American economy, then the Republicans have a way to spin this and be like, listen, we cut the public workforce. Public workers are useless anyway. There's no private market incentive for them to do X, Y, and Z. Who needs the IRS? Rah, rah, rah. And that argument will work with a lot of, average Americans if there's no catastrophic events. Now, if the public workforce is cut, the government shut down for a long time, and it causes severe damage to the American society, well, then it's probably going to harm the Republicans more because the Republicans are in power. And you can blame the Democrats all you want, and if the Democrats are in power, everything bad will always be blamed on the Republicans, and vice versa. This is not unique to America. This would work in Canada, India, Europe, anywhere where there's a democracy. Everything good is your party's fault. Everything bad is the opposing party's fault. That's not unique to any one country, but it really depends. If the consequences are severe and felt by the American people, it will hurt the Republicans. If the consequences aren't severe and the Republicans can kind of spin it as a good thing, as they, trim the fat of the public service, save the taxpayer money, right? And you're a blue-collar average American who works a private sector job, you're not going to cry for someone in the IRS who, the guy who's filing, you have to file your taxes too. You're not going to cry if there's less IRS agents or something like that. So it all depends on how bad the shutdown affects the economy and how well Republicans can spin it if it doesn't cause severe damage.
All right, sir. With that, I'd like to thank you for taking our time sharing your perspective with us on NewX World. We are shifting focus tomorrow.